Assalamu alaikum, everybody. We are just now jumping on. We're going to allow people to get on for a second. I'm going to use my computer to help monitor what's happening here. All right, bismillah. Assalamu alaikum for those that are joining us. Please go ahead and share if you can. Ladies, you are welcome to share as well if you have the capability. I hope everybody is doing beautiful today in alignment with our theme. Welcome to the Dope Muslim Woman podcast. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Please drop some love in the comments. BB, can you see the comments? Y'all know I'm bad with this.
I can see the comments.
Okay, cool. Drop some love in the comments. Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to the Dope Muslim Woman podcast. We are here today. We are so excited about this topic, necessary discussion that we're about to embark on. We're about to get real, keep it real, okay? If there's anybody that's playing it, can you, your audio? Somebody's audio is playing from Facebook. Okay. All right, cool. All right. This is your girl, Sabria Mills, the host of the Dope Muslim Woman podcast. I would like to officially welcome everybody here. Assalamu alaikum. I hope that your day is going well. We hope that you are peaceful and safe and healthy. Alhamdulillah. Welcome to the Pressure to Stay Beautiful. We are happy to have you here. Please drop some love if you are here in the chat so we can shout you out and give you some salams. But, you know, I like to be timely. So we're going to go ahead and get ready to get started. I am super excited because I am here with, I have a new co-host today. It's interesting because Ziada has been the co-host for some time, for a few episodes, and now she is the guest. So you guys are going to hear her expertise and her experience in a minute. I'm going to introduce her. But I am joined by another one of our guests, but a lovely co-host today, BB Watts. Content creator extraordinaire. She is a woman of many hats, okay? You can find her on bbwatts.com. She is doing amazing things. Thank you so much for joining us today. Assalamu alaikum, BB.
Walaikum salam. Thanks for having me. I'm excited about this conversation.
Yes, ma'am. So I'm so happy to have you here. All right, now let's get into it, y'all. Let's introduce my girlfriend. So it's something fun, y'all, because these are my girlfriends. For real, these are girls that I hit up when I'm going through stuff in the middle of the night. They talk me off ledges. You know, so we about to have a real deal girl chat. You're gonna be into our world. All right, so mashallah, I would love to introduce this sister. She is a hair care styling expert. She's the co-owner of Naturally Chic. It is voted best natural hair salon. Her natural hair techniques have been voted best by Creative Loafing magazine 3 years in a row. She plays no games. She works alongside some of the top natural hairstylists in the industry. She's worked with Talia Wajid, Jane Carter, Natural Hair Daily. Her hair care tips and styling strategies have been featured in Hype Hair magazine. She's also been featured in Southern Bride magazine, Black Hair magazine, and she's done so many numerous hair shows. She is also an author now of am I saying it right, Tresses?
It's the Natural's Guide to More Tresses, Less Stress.
There you go. Okay. All right. And she is an author now. She is the expert. She's been in this game 20 plus years. Welcome to the show, Ziada Dean.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it. It's different this time as being the guest after co-hosting with you, but I am honored as always to be on the show.
MashaAllah. Thank you for being here. So we're going to get right into it, you guys. Assalamu alaikum, everybody. We're going to get right into it. So we want to definitely go ahead and delve into this discussion around beauty ideals. We want to talk about some difficult topics too in relationship to how we navigate it as women and how, you know, we feel about how our brothers navigate it, and what we even need, what we would like to communicate to them in regards to this topic. So we're going to talk about all of that. Okay. So let's just get into it. Mashallah. So, you know, we wanted to broach this, like I told you guys this on the podcast, and for anybody that heard Imani's as well, I really wanted to broach this topic because I do think these two things happen. It either gets uncomfortable or there sometimes becomes a projection of judgment. So because we're talking about beauty, now we want to knock sisters that, you know, I don't know, don't wear natural hair, for example, or decide to wear, you know, I don't know, fake this or fake that. So sometimes these conversations can be pretty divisive of us and in the Black community. And I think it's really important that we have a healing dialogue around it. And let's talk about where some of these ideals come from, but more importantly, how we can be better supports to one another. And I think you're a master at that, Ziada. So, you know, we're pressured in this society to look beautiful. Our current societal standards do not always represent us. We know that, especially when it comes to our hair. So how can we first and foremost take some control back in regards to the perceptions of beauty in this society? So let's just start right there.
Okay. Well, I think the most important piece is that, you know, like spoke on the clip, as well as that I tell my clients, is that
Mm-hmm.
you have to redefine your definition of femininity and beauty within inside yourself, because all around you, you are shown a different depiction of what beauty is supposed to look like. And so I always encourage my clients that when you become comfortable in your own skin and in your own natural hair, the people around you have to become comfortable with you as well, because you are comfortable with yourself. So it really starts within, you know, it really starts within with really trying to have a self discovery of who you are, what your natural hair represents to you. In particular, I always say also that we are the only ones who reference our hair as natural hair, that we are going to get our natural hair done, but it's our hair that grows naturally out of our scalp. So why do we have to reference our hair as natural? You know, so we can change some of the trajectory of just the words that we use in regards to our hair, you know, and just embrace who we are. And some of it definitely is systematic. When we think of like when young girls get their hair done for the holiday season, it could be Easter or Christmas, you know, you're told to straighten your hair, press your hair so that you can be beautiful. You got to look pretty for this occasion, or graduation, straighten your hair. So you're already preconditioning yourself at a young age that straightness equates to beauty, you know, and that to look kept. So, you know, just trying to retrain our thought process around how we view a natural hair.
Absolutely. Absolutely. BB.
Oh, that's me. That's me, y'all. Okay. No, I'm trying to pay attention to the comments and things like that. So
Any love yet? Any
that's a really
comments
good
yet?
point. I actually, there are comments, just assalamu alaikum and things
Okay.
like that. So
Okay.
I'm paying attention. But I wanted to mention something, because I've never even thought about how we say our natural hair. That is such a good point. Can you hear me?
Oh, yes. I'm sorry. I took my headphones off. I can hear
Okay. Okay.
you.
Well, hold on. We have a lot of feedback. So
Yeah,
Oh,
what's
good.
going on in the background?
Okay. I'm sorry.
Something's going on in the background.
and there's a lot of there we go. All right. Better.
Oh, was that your
Okay.
background? Okay.
Okay. All right. Go ahead,
So
BB.
I wonder what the difference is and why we do that, why we have to differentiate between our natural hair, like in a different way than other people do. What is that? And what is the reason for that?
Again, I think it's just historically, when you think of like the word dreadlock, right? I have trained my clients to say locks, because when we were slaves and we came off the ship, they looked at our hair and they said that our hair was dreadful. So that's where the word dreadlocks came from. So training my clients to say, no, you have locks, not dreadlocks, because our hair isn't dreadful. You just retraining your whole thought process on how you perceive natural hair and the words that we use to describe our hair. So just then the coin natural hair, it really didn't come from us. It came from just others with, you know, with how to describe our hair, you know. So it's just something that we came up with. So I would say that we began to use that.
Yeah, for sure. And you know, and that's really a good point. And there's a little bit. I think there's a little bit of feedback coming from
Yeah,
your microphone.
I think so.
Yeah. So I don't know if you need to hold it still or yeah. But so I just wanted to just speak to the fact of um You know,
Hold on.
this is a really critical time right now where it's a heightened awareness around.
I had to take it off because it was too much. Sorry.
Okay, sorry guys, bear with us.
Yes. Is this better, or can you hear it?
No,
No.
it's so much echo.
I don't know what was going on. Hold on. I'm sorry. It sounds like somebody's typing.
Okay, you're sounding better now. So
Oh,
yeah, I'm not sure what it is. So in a time of really heightened awareness around our blackness, Black Lives Matter, being black, just sort of being proud of it. You know, there's a lot we internally need to unravel when in terms of this perception of beauty. So we do have one layer of hair. We also have, you know, our skin colors, what's used against, you know, sometimes we have colorism as an issue and just the perceptions. I know when I was growing up, you know, it was, and I don't know if is it still like this? I'm not sure. Probably, I think it's changed a little bit, but the light skin, dark skin narrative, you know, being compared, you know, I had a darker sibling. I was you know, not compared to my family, but in the outside world, we were constantly compared. Just this ideal of that being beautiful is whiteness, right? Is more whiteness. What do you think are some ways in which, first of all, we know that we got here through slavery, but how do we begin to unravel some of this systemic self-hatred and how we see ourselves?
I would say, well, the colorism issue has been something, again, that if you look at slavery, it was definitely played a huge role during slavery, because if you were lighter complected, you were in the big house. And if you were darker complected, you were in, the fields. So I think, as, in my home, my mother was lighter, but she didn't really play on that. She just taught me to love and embrace my skin. I've heard, you're pretty to be a dark skinned girl, which is crazy, because I've never even looked at myself in a way of like, okay, I'm pretty just because I'm a dark skinned girl. You're just all hues of us is beautiful. So I think, again, just really having the honest discussions that you should have around, colorism, and just embracing who we are and understanding the historical background of where so many of our mindsets have come from. They really do stem from slavery, and then over the years trying to work through Jim Crow and things of that nature, of just really understanding where we belong in this society. I think now the trajectory of changing to, where we are really embracing our blackness because of what has transpired, where so many of our lives are being taken, that we now want to celebrate our, history and who we are, because we don't want to take it from us,
Yeah, absolutely.
I
Absolutely.
just wanted to read a few of the comments because Sabria, you started off with that last question saying, I'm not sure if it still happens. Honestly, I come from a family where my mother had 8 children, 4 were light skinned and 4 were dark skinned. And we were actually treated differently by my multiracial grandmother based upon the shade of our skin. So I learned colorism in my family. So I wanted to first say that. And then Veronique says it's still happening. Someone says locks is one of my fantasies. I'm not sure.
Ooh,
That's what
a man or a woman, child?
I just thought, I'm not sure. I just wanted to share that. However, another thing is, my daughter goes to madrasa, right? And both my children have always been in madrasa. And because of madrasa and because of the way that our communities are, she has really long hair. And her hair is a certain type of texture. So she's had issues growing up with having to deal with questions like, is that your real hair? My daughter's 9. So I'm like, we're indoctrinating our children, and we're even like making them part of this issue, or teaching them that what Black women don't have beautiful hair, or the way that our hair doesn't grow really long. Like, how do we change that? Not just within our community, but how do we teach other people how to respect us for who we are in our natural state?
And before you answer, Ziada, Bibi, I just want to ask, so is she getting that response from non-Black individuals or from the Black community, your daughter?
She's getting it from everybody. She's getting it from non-Black and from Black. So
okay.
Most of the questions of, are you sure it's your real hair? How does it grow that long? Are coming, a lot of it's coming from our community, but it comes from them too. So it's kind of, it really makes me, I don't even know what to do with it at this point. The only thing that I've done so far, or thus far, is I've told her, and try to really instill in her how beautiful she is and don't worry about what others say. But I feel like I should be doing more.
Yeah.
So what would be your advice to parents in that situation, Ziada?
I would say, it's unfortunate that she's experiencing that. But I think the words that you are speaking to her, the self love, is important. You have to teach them that they're beautiful, and no matter what anyone else says to them, that their beauty is different, and it just stands out and probably more profound than someone else. But she's beautiful in her own skin and who she is as a person. I would also, the madrasa, is it predominantly, what's the racial background?
Go ahead.
It's more.
You heard the names. You gotta cut it out.
Oh, okay. I mean, I went to a madrasa also, and it was
Okay.
racist, So, I mean, unfortunately, I think, if you're going to experience that in the madrasas
Right.
because they already
Absolutely.
come with their own cultural racism. I mean, just really
Right.
call it what it is. And so, they unfortunately discriminate. Just because you're Muslim doesn't mean that they're going to unfortunately have the same views and love for you that you would expect them to. So, I just would continue to encourage her to love herself despite what someone else may say. When you are home with her, really teach her about her history, who she is, where we come from, so that she can really, really love her history and her representation in this world, but help her to find her voice also. It's very important to encourage young African American women to find their voice, to stand up for themselves, to not be intimidated, and to not feel as though that they should be quiet and allow someone to say things to them that makes them feel uncomfortable. Tell her that, let them know that that's not, I don't feel comfortable with you saying that. I don't appreciate you saying that, and I don't want you to say it again.
Right. Yeah, that part.
Oh, I love
Somebody
that
told me,
advice.
actually, it
That's
was
the part.
Imani. It was Imani, our other, I guess she has an audio where she was saying that she no longer teaches her daughters to be nice. Like,
Mm.
kind of like time's up with that. You know what I mean? Because we've been
Yeah.
nice for a long time. And think about even us growing up as young Black girls, what we've had to endure and what we've normalized as,
Yep.
as okay in regards to our skin and our hair and our bodies. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like
Absolutely.
time's up for that. Not nice. Be kind. You teach your children you teach your girls especially to be kind, not nice.
Right.
Not nice. You don't
Right.
have to be nice, right? So, but
Right.
I
Okay. You
wanted
have to be nice.
to, right?
I mean, I
But
think
yeah,
it's a balance. You can be nice, you can be thoughtful, but you still need to remember your worth. I think that's the thing, and that humbleness doesn't equate to meek. That you're humble, but yet that I'm accomplishing these things. I'm beautiful, and I am walking in this world unapologetically. And the moment that you really own that, then everyone else around you has to own it because you're not going to take that from anybody. You're not going to feel less than around anyone else because you feel it inside, you validate it. So I would just constantly validate your girls, especially in those spaces, because once they go out in this world, they're going to have to feed off of that and remember to validate themselves.
Yes.
So Ziad, I wanted to go into an issue that. So I'm gonna just keep it, 100. So I posed this question in regards to what are some beauty ideals we want to smash in our community. And Ziad, I'm gonna mute you for a second only because I'm getting a lot of feedback.
I know. I'm sorry.
So I'm gonna have you look at that for a second. But I'm gonna finish asking the question. Okay. So I'm still hearing it, even though I muted her. Okay. So I'm sorry, you guys. So basically I posed a question to women in the sense of like, what are some beauty ideals you want to get away from? And we talked about a few, but then there was an immediate sort of response of, well, I want to get away from, women looking fake and this and that. Kind of this sort of projection, and there's no judgment, but we need to have this open dialogue, sort of this projection of judgment instead of like, okay, I don't like, for example, I don't like when people say smile, when that was my example. I don't like when people say smile, won't you smile? If I don't feel like smiling, I'm not smiling. I don't feel happy in the moment, and that's okay. Especially men do that all the time. Oh, why don't you smile? And it's like, for what? Let's discuss this. How is that gonna benefit you? But we immediately sometimes as women go in, and I'm going to unmute Ziada because I don't know if it's even Ziada at this point. Got it.
Yeah, that's always what it is. But I think when you spoke about like smiling, you know, I think that sometimes people equate that as like that you're angry, but it's just that you could be processing something, you know, and that as a woman sometimes like I walk around, I'm not always smiling, and I think it's my protection in a way, so that maybe you're not approaching me, but at the same time, it doesn't mean that you're mean, but everyone is not warranted of a smile all the time. You know, I mean, like if you approach me and you speak, then I'm definitely going to speak to you, you know, but just because I may not be outwardly cheesing 24/7 doesn't mean that I'm unapproachable or that I'm a mean spirited human being. It just could be, I could be just in the moment thinking of something, you know, so I think,
Yeah.
you know, as women, people feel as though we should smile because it shows that we are accessible or that we're feminine. And if you're not that way, then that means that you know, you're not a feminine woman.
Yeah. So, ladies, just in the interest of like making sure that this important discussion does not get disrupted, I want us to we're taking a pause to just really look at our audio because it's way too much feedback. I'm afraid that we're losing the message.
Okay.
So I appreciate our audience for just sticking with us for a second. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, Assalamu alaikum, everybody. This is Sabria Mills. I'm having my guests just go ahead and check their audio right now, and I'll add them in one by one. I hope you guys are enjoying. I didn't get a chance to really look at. Sorry, I didn't get a chance to really look at the comments yet, but I do hope you guys are enjoying the discussion. Please ask questions, and we will get to you. All right. I'm not sure what's happening, you guys. This technology is playing with me. All right, let me add back in my group. All right, BB. Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam.
All right, cool.
You hear anything?
Yeah, we're good. We're good. I'm gonna let Ziada fix that up. So, what were there any comments that we need to look at?
There were, and I wanted to share some of them. One person said the idea that you can only be beautiful if you are slim or thin. That's a really big one. I know a lot of us have dealt with are you pregnant? Why are people so comfortable with saying things like that to you? Like you have to have a certain body shape or a certain build in order to be, beautiful. I'm really like, it was so hurtful for me to have dealt with that. And I mean, I don't find myself to be super big, but what if, you know what I'm saying? Like whether I'm pregnant or not has nothing to do with you. And then if you don't have the answer to that kind of question, what makes people so comfortable to be a judge over your body and your build?
Yeah, and you know what?
To make people feel
and you know what?
One of
the major issues with that is, BB, is the fact of I'm gonna let Ziada keep troubleshooting for a second. Okay, I'm just gonna hold it for a second.
Okay.
One of the major issues, and that's one of the major issues with that, though, I want to ask you. I'm not judging. Do you feel like some of that comes from men? Do you feel like some of that?
I feel like some of it comes from men. Yes, but a man has never asked me that. I've never been asked any of those questions by a man. So I feel like those ideals a lot of times are supported by and come from men, but we're the ones that's pushing them and carrying them and holding them because we're having more conversations and judging each other a lot more than the men are. That, in my opinion, in my experience.
Okay.
What do you got? What do you all
But when you talk about the weight piece, sis, I have gotten to many conversations with brothers about weight. I've gotten into a lot. This is crazy.
Somebody get in trouble.
It's all good. We good. It's all love, y'all. It's all love. But I've gotten into so many conversations with brothers that, like, that were very specific about weight. So the idea of weight and having this ideal weight, and let's be real, like what we see now on social media, thin waist, huge backside, huge boobs.
Which a lot of people paid for.
Right. It's not, it's like past the realistic stage now. So that is an ideal that a lot of men are projecting, and I could be being wrong. I could be judgmental. So I would love to hear from the brothers. Like, I want to have a dialogue about it. But a lot of men are projecting out, and I see, you know, I don't necessarily see, well, we do judge each other as women, but I do wonder where that comes from.
I don't know. I don't feel like it comes so much from the men. I feel like women are very jealous, insecure, and competitive being. So I feel like we need to
all
own
that, baby.
Girl, I feel like we need to own our part, though. I really do, Sabria, because I think that the men do support these things and they go after them, but when they're ready to wife somebody, they're not really looking at all of that.
That's true.
So it's like, what is your intention? Do you want to be the object of somebody's lust and desire, or do you want to be wife material? And then that takes us to another part of the conversation.
Absolutely.
What is it? What is your intention, and what are you putting out, and what are you putting on to make yourself look? You know what I'm saying? Like, there's so many different layers of it, and I think that a lot of times it's easier to push that responsibility on the men, but we gotta have some accountability.
But I do want to. But I do want to talk about the historical component. I'm frozen? Okay, I keep freezing.
Yeah, you're frozen right now.
I do want to talk about the historical component of this. I want to talk about the historical component of this.
Okay. Sabria, you there? Okay, everybody's here.
Mm-hmm. Can y'all hear me?
All right. Are we all here?
Yes. Can you hear me?
How are we sounding, guys?
How do I sound? Can you hear me?
It's better. Okay. Alhamdulillah. Bismillah. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Thank you, guys, for the people that stand with us. Y'all riders. Y'all riders. All right. So let's get back to this really important discussion. We're talking about the ideals that are projected on us, especially with Black women, Ziada, especially with Black women, slim waist, big booty, big breasts. Okay. You were talking about where does this ideal come from? Where is it stemming from? The men, the women? BB was saying we have to take ownership on this. What is your perspective?
Well, I would say that, I mean, it depends, you know, because that's not always everybody's norm. You know, some people like thinner African-American women, because actually, you know, if you're considered too big, then you are seen as, you know, that unhealthy. So it really depends upon people's preference, you know. I think that oftentimes that small waist and unfortunately that big behind is, again, it stems through slavery. If you take a look at when we were put on, historically, we were seen as not the prize, but as, you know, a circus animal in a way. Sarah Burton with the big behind, and she was, you know, taken and going on tours with the circus for her body. Literally, they had this beautiful Black woman naked for people to see her behind. And unfortunately, in our culture, it has been perpetuated. When you look in hip hop and things of that nature, and I mean, I love hip hop, but you look at the videos, and I even speak to my son about that. Like so many times in our songs, you hear the reference about our body and what we can do with our body and how we pop this and then pop that. And you listen to a country song, and you don't hear that. They do not degrade their women the same way that we do. I know that BB said as women, we should kind of take ownership for it, but I just think it depends on what kind of circles you're in, you know, and the kind of women that you surround yourself around, because.
Let me bring her back in.
Okay. I think, you know, sometimes absolutely we try to, you know, we can be a little critical, but for the most part, you know, like in my salon in particular, and, you know, my friend circle, we really encourage one another. We really bring each other up, you know, we celebrate each other's wins, and we really speak about the pressures of, you know, being a woman, an African-American woman in society in particular.
And, you know, especially many of us, many of my friends, we have, you know, our own businesses. So, you know, we have to navigate through owning your business, being a mother, and some are wives, and being a wife, and just trying to, you know, pour that love into one another. So I think that really starts with just really having honest conversations with yourself first. You know, what are you putting out in the energy that you're getting back from other women? Because I really don't look at another woman as my competition.
Right.
Never. I never look at another woman as my competition. If she's winning, then I'm winning, you know, and if my team is winning, we all are winning, you know, because I don't look at it like that. You know, I'm my own competition anyway. So therefore, no one else is my competition outside of myself, you know, and really because of women, because we go through so much, you know, I really love to see women succeed. In particular, that's why I really love entrepreneurship for women, because I believe in entrepreneurship allows a woman to never become a statistic, that you do not have to stay in a marriage or a bad relationship, because you know that you can pull yourself up. Because as an entrepreneur, you literally jump off the bridge and pick yourself up every day and tell yourself that you can do it. So it really helps to encourage women to be able to move forward. So I just think you have to have these forward movement conversations surrounding self-love first, because it always starts with you, and then outwardly it comes and expresses itself through those that you choose to be in your life.
That's an important part. I just gotta say this real quick, because I had a recent conversation with a brother. I was kind of I was polling some brothers in anticipation for this conversation. And I asked him, like, when you see a woman, what's the first thing, you know, you notice? I was just looking at some research about, in talking about women in business and how men actually find women that dress seductive in business actually kind of bothersome, you know, when they polled them. Not that they don't enjoy looking at it, but it's hard to focus, right? So this brother was like, oh, you know, I don't really look at women like that. I know women dress for other women. Like, he was like, women dress for other women. Women don't really dress for us. I never perceive that a woman is, you know, putting on an outfit being sexy for me. Like, it's for other women. What do you have to say about that? Because I've heard that narrative a bit. Like, women get dressed for other women. What y'all think about that?
I've heard it too, but I want to hear what Ziada says.
I mean, I don't think that. I mean, I don't get dressed for a woman. I mean, for what? Like, I mean, I'm not. I get dressed for myself. I have my own style. I've always had my own style. So I think, especially as like a hairstylist, we're pretty artistic with our expression in our clothing anyway. So something on us is going to pop. You know, it could be our earrings, or our makeup, or something. We're going to have some kind of statement piece just as a hairstylist, because you're an artist. But I get dressed for myself. I mean, I think for men, for one, I don't think they should judge a woman by what she has on. It's not their place anyway to even speak about what a woman has on. So, and if he's a Muslim man, then he should be really lowering his gaze anyway. So he shouldn't pay attention to what she has on. So policing
Is that
women.
realistic? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to jump in, but I'm just saying, is that realistic though?
I mean, I think, but this is my point though. I really don't like when, I don't think men should police women about their clothes. Like, I really, that to me is a very sensitive topic. I think because even sometimes in Islam, you could get married to someone and they look at you outwardly like, oh, okay, I like her dress. And then you get married to them and they want to change who you are. So I really think in the way that you dress. And so I think for me, it's kind of, it's sensitive because I've seen it, I've experienced it. And I don't appreciate it. I think if you see a woman and you like what you see, then that is what you embrace, you know. And I don't think that she may not think that she's dressing seductively. She just may like the outfit and feel like she feels sexy today, you know. And it could go the same way with the man. He could have some pants that's a little tight, you know, they're showing some things. And so what are we supposed to say? I mean, seriously, you know, but because we never really, it's always put to me on the woman, our responsibility to make someone else feel comfortable. And that, you know, I mean, how many times do we have to do that? You know, that we have to make someone else feel comfortable because you're not comfortable with how we decide to represent ourselves today, you know? So I really don't buy into that, you know. I think, yeah, every woman should be, you know, if that's what they choose to do, then it's not, if they don't feel disrespected about it, then I don't think that they should judge them, you know, because if we're not judging them so harshly, because you don't see memes, or you don't see dialogues about how men are dressing. It's always about what we are doing and how we're not doing it properly. And I think that needs to change.
Absolutely.
So, Sophia, I wanted to ask what you meant, or what you were talking about specifically when you said you don't agree. Which part of what she said, when you asked, was it realistic, rather?
Oh, so I'm just, when you said that, when she was saying like for the men shouldn't even be looking at, or like the woman. So we know ideally in our faith, they're told to lower their gaze, right? So we understand that instruction. But is it realistic? Let's just say a woman walks out. What did I see today in Atlanta, child? A whole,
Girl,
child, I'm in Atlanta. I think I saw sheer. Again, I don't want to judge women, but I'm just giving an example. Maybe a whole sheer leotard. You can see everything. So is it realistic to expect that man to not is the ownership only on him? Because I think men have this sort of issue as well, where they're sort of bashed for sometimes looking when it's all out there. That's just my question. Is it realistic to expect them not to look if it's all on display?
So
Go ahead, BB.
I mean, so on this topic, it's hard to speak to me because y'all know I'm the resistance blogger. So I'm always like kind of like treading thin line, and a lot of people usually don't agree with me. So I think that women have a lot to do with what they put on and the way that other people judge them. Now, are we the ultimate judge? Is a lot? Absolutely. Should we continue to judge each other? No. However, you are putting something on, people are going to perceive you in a certain way. So you have to be mindful of the things that you put on and what your intentions are when you're putting those on. And I really believe that. So I feel like it is unrealistic if I have everything hanging out and I have cat calls at the same time, or I'm not supposed to expect, or I won't expect having cat calls if I have on a cat suit. I just don't think that's realistic, honestly. And I'm a woman. You know what I'm saying? I've been a woman my whole life. I know what men respond to. So I have to be responsible, and I have to hold myself accountable for those things that I walk out the house in. I know that's not the popular opinion.
Go ahead, Ziada. Go ahead. I'm going to see y'all duke it out.
I mean, I look, if you have a see-through cat suit, Atlanta is always doing the most though. So, I mean, I lived in Atlanta for years. Atlanta does the entire most. Okay. So, I mean, I think that, like a see-through cat suit is a lot. Like it's a lot, and it's just something that you clearly, I mean, you admire your body, and you should admire your body. But I think that's a lot. That's a lot. I mean, it's just,
but there's some ownership.
Some ownership. But again, I just think as women we don't get a lot of passes. We really don't. I mean, we really don't. We get browbeat a lot,
especially with this thing here, this hijab piece. That's we're kind of tired of the policing. Because we have enough women in our community, enough scholars, enough learned sisters, where if there's some advisement that needs to come, I really feel like women can kind of handle this. And I know, I even know scholars that are really well learned in traditional sciences. Those that I respect, they tend to even be really delicate when they approach this subject. It's the ones that really come out and have this harsh sort of stance that I wonder, where did you sort of learn and study at? Because where's the mercy and hikmah in that? So that's a whole nother topic. BB, is there any questions?
There are a lot of comments, not so much questions. Someone says, well, it needs to be realistic because that fire is hot. What do you ladies say to that?
The fire is hot?
Yeah, they straight shooter. Like she went right for it. So,
for the brothers, is that?
No, they're saying it needs to be realistic. What you put on needs to be realistic because the fire is hot. So you know how we say, I may be hot, but hell is hotter? When we're talking about hijab and stuff like that. So Janine says it needs to be realistic because the fire is hot. So what is your response to that?
That's her opinion. I don't do that. I don't do a whole lot of back and forth. You know what I mean? Like you know what I mean? Like I get her point, and it's very real. But I think, again, Allah judges, He is the ultimate judge, and am I saying that you just willy-nilly? No, I'm not saying that. You know what I mean? I'm saying I was raised to respect myself, and I was raised to, you know, you when you walk out of the door, you don't represent just yourself, you represent your parents and those that came before you. I teach my son the same thing. My son can't walk out the house with just anything on either, you know. And you know, I just think like even when you spoke about the reference to the Kimara with sometimes of the Muslim men, I think if you look back at their relationships with their mother, there's probably some of where some of those issues are coming from, you know, because if you are looking at it to speak about, you know, just, you know, that you are really given the hikmah with, if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and commands us to be compassionate, right? He said, and we are begging to him for compassion. We are always begging him for forgiveness. Then that is how we are supposed to be amongst each other. So you can't beg something of your Lord that you are not willing to give to others. If you're asking for grace, forgiveness, and compassion, you need to do the same thing. So yes, I understand this is his point, but hopefully, inshallah, you're not there either. You know what I mean? Like we can't. I get the point of, you know, but we have to be mindful of
Listen,
what we
church.
take to others. You know, you really do. You know what I mean? We have to. You know, my social circle is very vast, and it's a beautiful sister circle that I have. You know, and some of the people in my sister circle are not Muslim. They're the most genuine, kind, loving human beings, but they don't dress like me, but they love me and I love them. And they have been there for me through some of my toughest moments in my life. You know, so for me, because my circle is so different, I don't really try to, you know, be as judgmental because everyone has their own journey. Everyone has their own spiritual path. And yes, my spirituality is Islam and I'm Muslim, but it's because that's where my truth is, you know, and I know that for others, they may be spiritual and they just, you know, but they're great human beings. I think, and sometimes even in Islam, that's why some people may stray away where they don't feel as comfortable around because you're not even showing your human side of compassion towards someone else. You know, that's why the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam was able to go in so many different, you know, nations and create peace because of his spirit, of how loving and compassionate he was to others. And they wanted to emulate him because of his compassion and because he showed love and mercy to others. And in this time right now, we need to be gentle with ourselves and others. We do not need to continue to throw the book at people. Where is that getting you? I mean, where is that really getting you? You know what I mean? Like, it's not creating a bond to have open dialogue about healing and, you know, moving forward. If we're going to use things that's going to, you know, divide us, you know what I mean? Like, I get it. I completely understand her point. I'm not saying that her point is not right. You know, that's her truth. And I completely understand that. And Islam stipulates things for sure. I'm not saying that it doesn't, but, you know, at the same time, I just, you know, again, you know, my family is just from all different walks of life and they're beautiful people. And when I tell you through this pandemic, they have helped me in more ways than one. And I just believe that it's important to show love to people because they really see how genuine you are. And my cousins even tell me, I love your religion because of who you are, because of who
That's the dollar right there.
how you show up in the world, you know. And I think it's very important for us to remember that as we be walking examples of what should be right. So therefore, compassion should overrule it.
Absolutely, girl. You better speak on it because because that's the whole point. That's why I was saying, like, I really want us to be radical as Muslim women to get away from this notion of picking and prodding. It's like we talk about, oh, the brothers judges or whatever, but you're right. We do it to us. Do you know how hard, you know, do you know how much it takes for us to get up and go outside as a Black woman, as a hijabby woman, to deal with all what's coming at us? We don't need it. I don't need it from my sister. I really don't.
We don't.
So
And
let's
you know
stop.
what? That's a really good point. I wanted to say I love Ziada the way you said my circle. When you said my circle, I knew you were going to say it's small, but you said my circle is vast. I have chills. One of the ladies in the comments said, "This is why my circle is so small," and I feel like we should stop judging each other. We should stop competing so that our circles can grow. We're not supposed to be like that. So that, like, I'm emotional.
Oh, mashallah. I think, you know, you have
That's
to.
so beautiful.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I think you know, each one, everybody needs each other, you know, and each one teaches one. And I would not be standing before you if it wasn't for those who have invested in me. I mean, I have literally been so blessed in my life. The way that people show up in my world is for one, I mean, the things that I have definitely experienced, I can never be bitter because for one, I have seen how Allah has come through for me when I didn't think that he would.
Yeah.
And those that I said in my circle, I mean, they have literally held me up when I didn't have any strength. I mean, tag teaming me with phone calls, tag teaming. Girl, we got you. What else do you need? What do you need? You know, and so no, my circle is not small, you know, but my circle definitely, my best friends are my cousins. They're not
Yeah.
my cousins. And my other girlfriends, my sister girls that are, you know, we've been friends for 20 something plus years. And, you know, people laugh when me and I tell them that, you know, I am now beginning to be comfortable in circles where it's just new women, you know, because I am particular when it comes to that, because about energy and making sure that people, you know, match my energy, and I'm protective of my energy also because I know what I give, you know, and so you know, I just think it's important if that's what's comfortable for them, that they have a small circle and that's what brings them peace, then I understand that as well. But for me, it has been a journey. You know, it has been a journey. I see you wiping
And
your
I
tears.
know, because you guys, I just have to say this,
I love you
but
so much.
they know, Ziada and BB both know, you know, the the messages that sometimes they get from me in the middle of the night, and just the power of loving without judgment on me and my dark moments. So when you said that, sis, it just really hit my heart because you guys know, you know, some of the things I've been personally going through and battling. And a lot of it has to do with a lot of my relationships with other women, you know, and just trying to navigate that and then trying to feel okay and growing and not having to always lose the people around you or feel judged. But you guys have loved on me so authentically, and I just wanted to just give a moment to say thank you to both of you ladies because you have answered my late
Aw.
night messages. So I appreciate you guys. You definitely, these sisters exemplify what they're saying. They exemplify it.
Thank you.
Mashallah.
We
I mean,
Mashallah. Okay, so let's not get, you know, we don't want to, let's get back to the truth. So real quick, so Zion, I just want to bring it back around to black hair.
absolutely. Okay.
So you, mashallah, are a master stylist. I want you to break down some, you know, we got a lot of women on the live here. We want to talk a little bit about, you know, natural hair, our hair, our hair. How do we care for it? Because that's another thing I've heard is I don't want to wear my hair natural because I don't know how to take care of it.
Right.
Can you talk us through that a little bit and empower us when it comes to our hair
Well, you
care?
know, it can be overwhelming. I get it. You know, it really can be very overwhelming as, you know, when you go natural. And so what I encourage my clients is when they become natural is to join like a, you know, a natural hair discussion or support group or things like that. Look on YouTube for your DIYs, meaning what you can do at home so you can feel a little empowered. But also the proper care one is having, you know, making sure that you keep moisture in your hair. And the way that you can keep moisture in your hair does not come from oil. It doesn't come from grease. That does not equate moisture because grease and oil typically will just stay at the root or on your scalp and it will not penetrate. You need water for it to be moisturized. And so some products that are really great for that are Jane Carter Refresh or Restore. It's a daily moisture mist, and the first ingredient is purified water, and then after that is essential oils. You can order that off of Amazon or directly from her website, Jane Carter, JANCARTER. And what I like about her product line is that she was a stylist, and then one day she woke up and she could not service her clients anymore due to some of the chemicals that she was using. So she came up with her own product line so that she can continue to service her clients. And then her product just grew to the point where she could no longer do hair. She now runs full-time the product line. And it's a great line. It's been very consistent, and I really believe in consistency, which is really important. Another product that is really good that I'll show you, I have the small sample size. It's called Joico, and
Okay.
this is the Moisture Recovery.
Okay.
And you can order that from Ulta. I don't know if Ulta in Atlanta or where you live has reopened, but you can order it offline. So
We
it's
open over here, Ziada.
uh,
We open over here. Yeah, just so
So again, it's the moisture recovery, and the shampoo and conditioner is really good. And what you want to concentrate on when you have the conditioner is called slippage. And so slippage allows you to manipulate your comb. So you want a wide tooth comb. You always want a wide tooth comb like this. And the slippage from the conditioner allows you to detangle your hair. So allows the comb to manipulate through your hair easily and not to cause breakage. So you really want to be cautious of making sure that your hair doesn't break. So again, the wide tooth comb, and you can purchase these at any beauty supply store. Always get a wide tooth comb so that it can properly detangle your hair. Some other necessary tools that you can have are clips. So you'll have your hair clips. You see that like such. You can have different colors. And what you will do is that you will part your hair into 4 or 5 sections, about 4 to 5 sections. You will part your hair, and you would do what I've told you to do with the wide tooth comb, and you would saturate your whole entire scalp with the conditioner. And then you would do the different parts. So you would go from one part, detangle, and what you do to detangle is you start at your end and work your way to the root. So you never start out at the root, you start at the end, and then you work your way up to the root. And this helps to alleviate breakage again. So that's the key component. You're trying your best not to over manipulate your natural hair and to alleviate as much breakage as possible. And this helps with lymph retention. And also with lymph retention, what you want to do is to get trimmed. And I know that a lot of, African American women feel sometimes that stylists are super happy. And I just want to reassure you that we're really not, nor are we jealous of your lymph. We want to make sure that your hair is healthy. And when you get your trims, this allows you to have enough retention, and so that you're not holding on to dead hair. Some other products that are good is the Dew. This is a really great product.
Let me see the top. Is it called the Dew? Okay.
Yeah, I think she's in Texas. I feel like she's in Texas.
I've never seen that one.
So me either.
They were featured on Insecure, and I was really happy to see that. It's a Black-owned company. She's actually a hairstylist, and she has her own salon, and she came up with her own product line. And what I really like about this, they sell this in Target, and they sell this in Target as well as on her website. And she did a remix of like hip hop, like as you see, like you think of like the 90s and the 80s.
Yeah.
And so this is really great for your wash and goes. And like if you were doing wet double strand twist, it gives a really great set. So that's a really good one. And Jane Carter's Wrap and Roll Mousse is another great mousse to do your roller sets, your rod sets, or lock maintenance, as well as your wet double strand twist. So if you blow dry your hair, the Jane Carter Curl Definer Cream is really good, and you can order that online as well. It's a light cream, so you always want to make sure that your product does not leave a buildup, because that can cause scalp conditions. And with your first shampoo, you should use a detoxifying shampoo or clarifying shampoo. And some great clarifying shampoos, the Paul Mitchell shampoo 2 is a great one, as well as we have, that's a really good one right now, but that's a great one. So anyone that's a clarifying shampoo, and the clarifying shampoo will be clear. That's how you know it's clarifying.
Okay.
So tea tree is a clarifying shampoo as well, because it's a clear color. And then after you do your clarifying shampoo, your second shampoo, like this one that I showed you, the Joico Moisture Recovery, is good to bring back the moisture that was taken out of your hair from the clarifying shampoo, because the clarifying shampoo strips your hair of all oils and buildup. So it's really good for that. And if you have scalp conditions, a tea tree or any kind of shampoo that's good for dandruff is good for something like that. I wouldn't use essential oils unless it's with a carrier oil. And so a carrier oil would be like your jojoba or vitamin E or something like that. And your jojoba oil is a really great oil because it mimics the same consistency of the oil that we secrete naturally from our sebaceous glands. And then you can put a little bit of the essential oil in an applicator bottle so that you can directly apply it to your scalp. So those are some tips that will really help you with that.
Thank you, sis. Amazing.
Okay.
Bibi, do we have questions?
Yes, we had two questions that I wanted to get to before we close. So the first one was, is Jane Carter a black-owned business? And then the second is, when wearing a hijab, what fabric do you use to avoid breakage?
Sure. Yes, Jane Carter is a Black-owned business. I've worked with her personally. She's really sweet, very kind, very thoughtful, and she's been around for some years. Yes, so she's definitely Black-owned. And the material that I recommend to most hijabis is to use a satin or kind of scarf. And if you don't have a satin scarf, then to wear a satin underscarf underneath of your kimar. And I also recommend to hijabi women to increase your vitamin D, because our hair and our scalp is not exposed to the sun. So therefore, it causes sometimes for us to have a lack of vitamin D in our body. So we are normally vitamin D deficient.
And it causes, when we're deficient, it causes depression and anxiety. I learned
Absolutely.
that too.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yep. Absolutely. Yeah. Especially now during the pandemic, I've been taking D3 with K12. And so that helps with you being, in the home and not getting exposed to enough sunlight. It helps with the depression or feeling, sadness and just your bones and things of that nature. So I just definitely encourage you to increase your vitamin D if you are hijabi, and also to make sure that you, and if you're having like hair loss or things of that nature, I know that most women do not like to take prenatal vitamins after you've had a child, but it really does have every.
We're gonna get pregnant on them, don't we?
I know, right?
They're horse pills. They're so big. Like, what?
They are, but they have every vitamin that you need in the prenatal vitamin. Just increase your water intake. So any kind of vitamin that you take, increase your water intake, and then what you put in your body comes out. So make sure that you're increasing your fruits, your vegetables, and your water, and you should see a difference. And find a great stylist, one that you trust, who's knowledgeable and pours love into you. That's what's most important.
And for our brothers, for our spouses and lovers, what are some ways do you feel like, and I don't know, we can't speak for them, but what are some things, I'm asking both ladies, that you would like to hear from your significant others in relationship to your hair?
Oh, you asking me?
Some men, they be shampooing their women's hair and stuff, all that kind of stuff. So
I mean, I think that's sweet. I do know some people whose husbands actually wash their hair. I think it's nice. I think if that's your love language, I think that they, if that's, they should, participate in that for sure. I think it's beautiful. That shows that they love your hair. That shows that
outside validation, but
that they valid, right, exactly. But I again, I
go ahead, Tiana. Go ahead.
If I want to cut my hair, I'm cutting my hair. If I want to color it, I'm coloring it. So, I just,
good girl, go.
Yeah, I just do.
You don't have a conversation. So hold on, this is important. You don't have a conversation with your significant other. I know that it's ultimately your decision, but do you just put them on notice?
Yeah, I'll say, I'm about to cut my hair.
Period. End the conversation.
Yeah. Or I say, you know what? I'm thinking about this color. I think it's going to look nice on me. And if they be like, oh, okay, I'm like, okay, because I'm going to do it. So I'm going to cut my hair, or I'm going to color it, because we change. They change. They grow a belly. Their hair falls out. You know what I mean? Like, they become gray. I mean, it's the truth. You know what I mean? So
did you say that?
That being said, it's the truth. Their hair falls out. Their hair becomes gray. Their beard changes drastically sometimes. And so we still love them through it. You know what I mean? So again, they don't apologize. They don't even tell you half the time. Like, I'm probably gonna have to cut my beard for work. And I love beards. So for me, it's like, oh God, you gonna do what? You gonna cut your hair? Like, but if that's what they have to do for their job, then you're like, okay, babe, you guys still pay the bills, so I get it. If that's what you have to do. But I don't. They don't really. We accept them. For the different changes that they may make. So I think, yes, you should have a conversation. I'm not saying that you do stuff like drastically. Now, so I've had clients tell me, like, my husband really doesn't like if I cut my locks. He told me he's not going to be attracted to me, you know, and I think that's hurtful. I do. And again, I just think that, you know, it's important to stand in your truth. You know, you have to stand in your truth. You really do. And if you find yourself beautiful, they won't have to adjust because I'm pretty. And so, you know, and I want this haircut and I want this color. And I think it's going to look great. If I don't like it, then I'm going to change it. You know, I mean, I could see if you know, he's like, oh, wait a minute, you're going to get your hair done today. I get that. Remind me that right now I'm looking kind of rough. You know, I might need to step it up a little bit. But I just think that you should have a conversation, yes, but it shouldn't be one where you're feeling less than because you've changed your hair. That hasn't changed your heart or who you are as a person or how you show up in the world. It's just something outwardly that has changed about you. But the inner part of who you are and the makeup of who you are as the woman that stands before him, that's minor to everything else to me. That's really how I look at it.
BB, do you want to add anything on, or is there anything from the comments you want to add on?
Yeah, well, there's a question. I do want to say that, I mean, I understand how you feel that it's minor, but if my husband cut off his beard,
y'all done?
Holla back. You know what I'm saying? That's not minor to me, bro.
That's not a small thing. Yeah, when she mentioned that, I was like, ooh, yeah, I don't know if we accepting the cutting off of the beard.
You know what I'm saying? No, but somebody asked, how do you feel about rose water and glycerin? So I'm not sure if this is directly related to like hair or skin, but just generally speaking.
It is. So, I mean, rose water can be applied 2 ways. So you can use it on your face. It's really great. It's a great light astringent. So it's actually really good. I mean, you can rinse your hair with rose water. That's nice. And the glycerin is good for twisting your hair or lock maintenance. It's great. It's a natural, all natural product. So I would just use it sparingly because it can cause a buildup also. So just be mindful of that. So just with any product anyway, just be mindful of the amount that you use because you don't want a lot of buildup. You do not want to create any scalp conditions because once you have a scalp condition, you know, we normally will refer you to a dermatologist because it's only but so much we can do. That now this is beyond our scope. And so you should go to a dermatologist to make sure that it does not become a fungi, that it's, you know, really hard to treat. So yeah, glycerin is good as well as rose water. They're both a great one.
So, okay. So we are getting, okay, this says Shukran. So we are definitely coming to the end of it. This was such a nice girl chat. So healthy. We talked about so many different things. We could continue this dialogue, but I think you gave them so much wisdom. A few one of the last comments I saw, beards are beautiful. I love them. And I think some men tend to be more critical of us than we do of them. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So the brothers that are here, you know, let's just have more healthy dialogue around it. But, you know, just know that your words are powerful as well. And women want to be really seen, not just seen. We want to be seen, right? Our whole essence.
Yes, we want our voices to be heard so we can really be seen in this world. But in order for that to happen, you know, you just have to show up unapologetically of who you are. And it took me, and I'm speaking this way because it took me 43 years, I'm 43, to really say, listen.
The good girl.
Girl. Yes, I'm 43. If you do not show up in this world the way you know that Allah intends you to, you're not going to have another chance. And so I had to, this time, you know, I'll be honest, coming out of another marriage, I said, you know what, Allah, you have given me another chance and I am showing up. I'm never dimming my light for anyone to make them feel comfortable. I'm not doing that anymore. And it doesn't benefit me. It doesn't benefit my child. So show up and show out.
Hey, what, I mean, we can leave it right there, right, BB? Like that's.
Absolutely, that's it.
The mic drops. Well, I wanted to just thank, mashallah, tabarakallah, thank the audience for your patience as we navigate all this, mashallah. You know, I didn't switch cameras and now I got low quality visual, but we made it through and we had some awesome dialogue. Thank you so much to my co-host. You did an amazing job. Your perspective, your wisdom, your realness, keeping up with the comments. Thank you for sitting in for our beloved Veronique. And thank you for being here, BB.
Thank you. I appreciate it. It was really fun.
Yeah, alhamdulillah. And Ziada, thank you so much for your light, love, your authenticity. We felt it permeate through this live feed. So we really appreciate you speaking life into us.
I love you all too.
Love on each other. That's the message. Ladies, please. It's really important. It's really important. And it's a small thing. I just want to say this really quickly. You know, some of us are going through challenges and struggles. It just really takes a small thing. Sometimes these sisters just give a word. I think Ziada today, she just sent me a little quick video. Took her probably a few minutes to do so. That uplifted my spirit. So it's just small things that you do that matters. But just love on your sisters. Love on your brothers too. They need it too. We rock with y'all as well. And,
absolutely, 100%. I love my Black men for sure. And
there we go. We got y'all back.
Absolutely, always.
Always. Just keep those beards, right, BB?
Yes.
Oh, I'm in agreement too. Trust me. I love a beard. Trust me.
Beard.
All right. Love you guys. All right. Thank you guys so much. Take care. We love you.
All right.
Sending love. Tomorrow we'll be back here with another episode. We're going to be speaking about child abuse and empowering our children to being body safe especially during these days and times. So make sure you join us back here with Sharia Schultz. We love you guys. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.